hair looks a mess. I swear I brushed it this morning. Hi everybody, welcome to episode 36 of my Stardew Valley Fresh Start. We are in spring of year 2. The last 2 episodes have been so exciting for me. We got to go to the Calico Desert Festival for the very first time. That hadn't even existed when I played before. And while there, we got the purple mushroom, finally, and the last apple, finally. So basically, we've made a lot of progress, and we will now definitely be able to finish the visitor or the community center in the summer. The only thing I need is red cabbage, and I'm pretty sure that's a summer item. Fairly sure. Not 100% positive, but should be. So let's get into it and start playing the game. Why isn't it there we go. Sometimes there's a delay before it shows up. And sorry if it's a little quiet. I'm eating my breakfast while I play, so I can't have the mic right in front of my face. Alright, so we're going to come up here and say hello to Jazz. Jazz is obviously longing for some children to play with. But considering we're only at 7 hearts with our future husband, it's going to be a little while. Okay, we need a potato and truffle. I still don't understand why she wanted the potato juice. I know it's like supposed to be vodka, but it's also really, really not. It's potato juice. So we are going to be able to go pick up our pickaxe today. We're going to do it, man. We're going to do it. I got to clear out some of these trees. They grow so fast. They're worse than children. I don't know, man. Like, am I crazy? Did they, like, always grow this fast? I don't think so. Alright. And it seems like rabbits don't give things as often. Which isn't that big a deal. I've kind of been neglecting the farm, giving it, as they say, a lick and a promise. Where, like, I've done the bare minimum to get by. So I could get to the Calico Forest as fast as possible. Which isn't awful, because now that we have the greenhouse, it's not as bad. And, like, I know I don't have the optimal setup for the greenhouse. Like, there's more and better ways I could set it up. I could get the iridium sprinklers and just... There's more I could do to make it more efficient. But this works. Like, I have... Wow, I've already filled... Okay. I have 2 of everything, right? That continually give stuff off. Or at least that's the goal. I will double check each season and make sure I get them. If I'm missing any. And that's still leaving me enough space to do some, like, other gardening. Okay. Is there anything in here that needs to be kept? Not really. So let's start on our first batch of mayonnaise. Let's go here and drop off that. And that's... Okay, I do need to drop off the coffee. Okay, now we're fine on blueberries. Cranberries, we're fine. Whole lot of fine. So I will take that. I do need to check something. I don't think you can age it. No. Okay. Just making sure I don't actually need to do anything with it. So let's sell our first load of goodies. I mean, we're making like 10K a day, so I would say we're doing pretty good, even if it's not perfect. I swear, that sheep gives me wool every damn day, and I cannot get the rabbit to do a damn thing. I really want to get the auto grabber. Goodness. Sorry about that. All right. Let's go check on the bat cave, although it never produces anything either. Like I said, never produces anything. Okay, so store you and you. Okay, grab everything we need here. And let's head to town. Drop off our goodies. I should have brought the gold. Oh well. Okay. Take that. Eh. Thank you, my dude. You have another thing to donate to the museum. Oh boy, the flute block. Okay. Okay. Let's head up to Granny's house. Done. That is an expensive. I guess since we've got it in our thing, and we've got to go see our boy anyways. Hey! Because I know you. Every time you say that, it like breaks my heart, dude. I hope you know that. You're breaking my heart. As he's over here, like, on Wolf's chair watching me play, she really likes watching this game. Didn't mean to go in his bedroom when he's not there. That's a little creepy, and I'm not Abigail. I feel like Abigail is one of those, like, clingy, honor gamer girls. Like the ones who think they're all subtle, that they're not trying to, like, desperately come on to pretty much any guy in the gaming group. But they hang around them all the time, hoping that one of them will notice them. I always feel like bad for those girls because it's like, girls, either the guys are too like unaware. I don't know, like the gamer guys I know, or I knew when I was younger, are like unaware of the fact that girls might be interested in them at all. It just, they cannot conceive of it. So they will think of every other reason a girl might be hanging out with them other than, hey, she likes me. Now, obviously, this is not true for like every guy, but I've found this to be true of most gamer guys. Like even Wolf, back when we both were streaming more regularly. Hi, Jazz. Sometimes I'd be sitting there, doing my own thing on my computer, but watching his stream and kind of playing mod. Because we both have people come in that are just trolls or trying to sell crap or just annoying us or whatever. So he had this girl come in. And this was after we were married, or it was after we were engaged at the very least. And he was like, yeah, I'm just sitting here. This is my wife. You know, I said hi. He's like, yeah, that's my wife. She's my mod. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she starts flirting with him. Like, to me, quite obviously. And I was, he said, oh, that's my wife, because I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now, hun. Bye. Good night. And the girl asked, like, who's that? It's like, oh, it's my wife. But I kept watching his chat when I was in bed, because it gives him points if it's just. Anyways, I'm screwing the story up so bad. So I go to bed, but I'm still like keeping an eye on his chat because it takes me a while to fall asleep, and I've got TV on, but I'm just leaving this open until I'm actually tired enough to conk out. This girl was like hitting on him so much. Like, I wouldn't go to, if I was your wife, I wouldn't go to sleep and I'd stay up and game with you. I love watching my boyfriend's game. I wish I had one that I could watch him game. I'm just like, okay, girl. Wow, you're so good at this. Would you ever consider teaching me how to play this game? It's like, it's Fortnite. Run around and shoot things. You got it. It's pretty easy. Or, I don't know, whatever game he was playing, it wasn't like a super complicated one. I'm not saying Wolf isn't good at him. He is. But it was just such pick-me energy. And I'm just like... And he was completely oblivious to it. He's like, oh, I'm sure... I'm not really on that much, but if you want to hop on, I'd be happy to give you some tricks, some pointers. But if you go watch this person and this person, like, they're much better at it than me. And this person, they're really good at teaching people, and they run with other people all the time. I'm just only on a little bit. And he's like, I was just like, okay, well, at least I know he's good. And it's not like he knew I was sitting there watching him. It's not like I was sitting there watching him because I didn't trust him. I would do that a lot, where I go to bed and I just leave his stream running on my phone so that he gets the viewer count. And just cuz, but part of me was like, oh, this is funny. How's he going to handle this? Thinking he had to know what was going on, right? Right? Like, he knew what was going on. He was going to, yeah, no. After he stopped streaming, she finally got frustrated and left, and he ended his stream. And I was still awake by then. And so I went outside. I'm like, honey, you did realize she was flirting with you, right? He's like, she was? Why would she do that? I said I had a wife. Like, oh, honey. I'll block her next time she comes in. I'm like, I don't care. If she's dumb enough to, give you a follow and give you views, which does eventually lead to money, I don't care. Just, don't lead her on. Okay. Gamer guys don't notice crap. You have to be very, very clear with them. And if you're not, anyway, that's mostly they don't notice things. Occasionally they do, but they don't know how to handle it if they're not interested. Like, does that make sense? I don't know. Just, nerds are a different breed. Heck yeah. like eventually they hit their like grown up phase and they're like they figure stuff out, I guess. Or they find something to give them either, if not confidence, then like I don't know. You just I almost have another 1,000 wood to sell. Is there anything else I need? No, you're still building up there. Okay. There's the drum block and the flute block. And like, I guess there's something you can do with them. I don't know. I probably pissed off a bunch of people by my analysis, and I could be dead wrong. It's just, this has been my experience. Having been in the gamer community for a good... Oh my god, how long have I been in the gamer community now? Let's see. I've always kind of been on the fringes of it. Like, I started playing Magic in junior high as a 7th grader or 8th grader. I don't remember which. You're fine. So that would have been sometime 95-ish. Ish. I can't be more specific than ish. And it's 2025, so 30 years I've been part of the gaming community. I have seen it through so much. So much has changed, and yet in some ways nothing at all has changed, which is frustrating. When I first started playing Magic, I was kind of the first girl in my school who wanted to play, and it was mostly the Asian boys and a couple white boys who played. But I hadn't learned, but my cousin here in Arkansas was playing, and he was a good, let's see, my sister's about 14 years older than me, and he's about 2 years older than her. He was like 16 years older than me, so like significantly. Okay, I'm getting notifications here. Oh, I've got packages out for delivery. That's cool. I did not expect to have packages out for delivery today. I expect them tomorrow. Cool. I guess I will be unboxing several things today. Okay, cool. Anyway, my older cousin played, the male cousin back here. And I just thought he was the coolest thing ever. Like, he's the one that got me into all the geeky things. He used to play, I think it was called EverQuest, really, really old open world style RPG. I'm pretty sure it's still around, but I don't remember exactly if it is. But that game just looked so neat. And he let me play it a little bit, and I was absolutely hooked. But we didn't have internet, and like I couldn't do... Mom and Dad weren't so keen on that. They were a little worried that might be too grown up for their 13-year-old little girl. So I didn't get to play that. And it was too expensive because you had to pay for it. monthly, and yeah. I didn't have money quite back then. But Magic cards, those I could, Magic cards wasn't a monthly subscription. It was more of a you buy a set and you're good. So that I could scrape together enough money and I convinced mom and got enough to at least start out. But the video gaming online, that she wasn't too sure about. I played a lot of other games. Like I played Carmen Sandiego, I played Doom, I played I don't remember what all games I played back in the 80s and early 90s. But I played a bunch of them. But Magic Cards was the first like community where like there were I don't know. I joined the geek community. It was one thing to play computer games in the privacy of my bedroom or I wasn't allowed a computer in my bedroom, so it was the privacy of our computer room, our office. It was another thing to like sit with a bunch of other people and have conversations and have a community. The problem was the community at my school did not think that they needed a girl to be added to their community, particularly not a girl who was not pretty. And at first, they very, very much refused to teach me how to play. They're like, we don't have time to teach you. I have no interest in teaching a girl how to play this game. So sorry, guess you can't play. Sucks to be you. I was like, that's okay. I'll sit here and watch, and I bet I figure it out. They're like, oh, you can't figure out the game by watching? Bet I can. Bet I did. So, like, I would watch them play and slowly figured out the rules, and I got a little deck and I started figuring out what each of my cards did and how they worked and all that jazz. And then one day I'm like, I brought my cards and I'm like, I want to play. And they were like, yeah, no, nobody said you could play, so you can't play with us. Well, this was I was the library, like I worked at the library at lunch 3 days a week, and the librarian happened to overhear this. I was like, no, that's not how we function here at this junior high school. If you are telling people they cannot play the game, if you are specifically excluding people, then you can leave my library and you're not playing in here. We can't play outside, it's too windy. Then I guess you better let her play. This was not the first time I had employed a tactic like this, and I know guys think this is just awful, that girls just worm their way in. But we shouldn't have to, is the point. Like, I get it if, like, they had let me play and I cheated. I would have totally understood them not wanting me to contribute then, or not wanting me to play then. That makes sense, Or if I had harassed them or done anything other than wanted to play the same game they're playing. But I hadn't done anything. Sorry, I'm trying to process in my brain. What am I doing here? When I was in 5th grade, I wanted to play basketball at recess, and no other girls played basketball at recess, so the boys were like, nope, you can't play with us, and I figured out, oh, wait, if I go to the powers that be and I let them know, hey, the boys are restricting access of the basketballs and the basketball courts, the order would come down, either everybody plays or nobody plays. So I figured the same thing would happen in the library. So maybe I kind of on purpose asked when the librarian was within earshot. Like, I shouldn't have to, right? So they let me play Magic, and they kicked my ass multiple times, but they figured out pretty quickly that I was just one of the guys. I would take my losses, you know, like a champ, and be like, okay, cool, thanks. We'll try again next time. I'll do better next time, and I would, and I got better and better until I beat one of the boys. And oh boy, did that poor lad get picked on like crazy because he lost to a girl. After a while, it kind of stopped. They stopped picking on the ones who would lose to me because it happened often enough that it was just normal. I mean, I wasn't like just fabulous, like, oh, I could beat all of them every time. I wasn't that. I was never that good. But I could hold my own, you know? So I enjoyed it, and it was fun, and I played through 8th grade. And then somehow over the summer between like 8th and 9th grade, when we transitioned to high school, all of a sudden it was a much bigger deal to play Magic cards because my high school had some very culturally divided cliques. Let's put it that way. And there were just certain places that certain people could and couldn't eat lunch. And most of the Magic card players were the Asian kids. And I was not welcome to eat lunch where they ate lunch. So, you know, and I made other friends, and like I had played basketball the second half of 8th grade, and I'd had a boyfriend somewhere in there in 8th grade, and I stopped playing Magic cards while I was hanging out with him because he did not play Magic cards. And just, I won't say I grew out of it, like I stopped wanting to play, but I grew out of it in that other things became important, more important. Also, about that time, we got internet, and I was able to, you know, start finding a community of geeks on there. And I was able to start finding other girls who played games on there. And I was kind of tired of being the only female and getting some crap about being the only female. So, yeah, just. I kind of left unintentionally. Or intentionally. I don't know. Was what it was. I played a little bit in college, but just like casually, like, oh, you play Magic cards? Yeah, I used to play. Sure, give me a deck. I'll play. And that's kind of how it's been ever since, where every once in a while I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, yeah, I play Magic cards. Sure, that'd be fun. Let's just play a hand or two. But I don't. It's very just nostalgic for me because that was my introduction to geek culture. And I guess looking back, I can see why maybe they were reticent to let me play because I've seen what pick me girls look like now. And I wasn't giving off that energy in that I was interested in any of them because I promise you, when I started playing cards, I had very little interest. I had very little interest in boys when I started playing Magic cards. It just wasn't something I thought about. And I certainly didn't think about these boys that way because they were assholes to me. Okay. A cat just gave me a sword. And now he's going to come yell at me. Sorry, Wiz. $20 damage. So honestly, the one I have is better. It's a level 6 sword. That's only a level 4 sword. But, okay. It's cool to have it. I mean, just to have completed that. How much did that hurt our relationship? It didn't. It really didn't. Sorry, my friend. Yeah, they are. I'm sure they are. Yeah. Anyway. And, like, I've read all the books about girls who game getting doxxed and getting this, that, and the other. I never actually was threatened, like, or anything like that. Mainly, probably because I never had any patience for those type of gamer guys. Like, I just found them ridiculous. And so I wouldn't interact with them. I'm not super I'm not very confrontational. I'm more apt to be confrontational if I feel there's some kind of social justice thing involved, or if it's one of my friends. You know, if it's a friend that's being hurt or discriminated against or not being treated fairly, I will jump in and, like, fight tooth and nail. But if it's me, I'm probably just gonna walk away because you're not worth my time. And having been part of the gaming community for 30 years now, there was a lot of people that, yeah, you're not worth my time. And in a lot of ways, I was also just, like, very lucky. Like, with World of Warcraft, that was the next, like, big gaming community I became part of. And it wasn't until after college, really. I mean, I did some stuff with the theater, and that's a whole different type of geeky community. But the gaming geeky community, next time I got involved with them was World of Warcraft, and I started playing after I graduated college, really during my first year teaching, because I had my own grown-up money, you know, and I could afford to play games and stuff and pay monthly things. And I started playing this one. It was a lot of fun. And I guess I just kind of got lucky. The guild that I fell into was a good mix of men and women, but it was run by a woman. So I didn't experience a lot of bullcrap from them. And because by then I was aware of this toxic, what has become the incel community, I never hung out in the public chat, voice chat, or word chat. You know, I never hung out in the public chat very much in any of the games I played, because I found the majority of the people who hung out there so immature and ridiculous. So it's like I would turn off the chat, you know, and just do my thing, and I'm gonna run around and play games and do whatever, and y'all can go jump in a frickin' lake. I don't need you. I usually played ranger classes so that I could play without, you know, with or without other people. I was a hunter more often than not in WoW. Me and my little tiger pet, we could do 90% of the quests without any help, without anybody else. And that's how I played. Either I ran with my guild that was run by a female, or I ran solo. And I didn't want to put up with all the crap. Occasionally, I would get invited to run with people, run quests or run dungeons with people. But generally, I just didn't talk to anyone, really. I listened a lot, but I didn't talk to anyone. And it's kind of when I'd hear, a girl getting harassed or something like that, my guild would kind of look out and be like, okay, is she. I we'd kind of start talking to her and making friends with her and like, hey, you're okay. They're not gonna do anything. Give. We try to like give her some tips of how to not be treated like that, and either the girl would listen and learn and find ways to become, find ways to play in spite of the crap, or she'd get run off. And that was always sad. I mean, how many girls were run off from games they really enjoyed because guys suck a lot. But one thing I learned very, very early on in my life is if you want to do something different from most people like you got to get a thick skin. If you want to do something that people who look like you or act like you or are the same gender as you don't do, it's going to... Being the first to do something or go somewhere is never going to be easy. Like, you're always going to have people who don't think you should do it, or who think you're doing it wrong, or think they could do it better, or just have a problem with you in general. So if you don't have a thick skin about things like that, you're never going to make it, and you should just stay home. So that's kind of always been my mentality with gaming. Look for the groups that accept the outsiders and have a thick skin for the rest of them, because they really don't matter. I mean, what does it matter if somebody's sitting with a headphone on in their basement playing a computer game says something about me? Like, what do they know? They don't know me. I just kind of like, okay, dude, have fun. So when I did get to, the modern age where streaming is a big thing, and Wolf was very, very into Fortnite when he and I first got together. That was his big thing. He was streaming. And so I started playing Fortnite to be part of, to do something with my boyfriend, and then fiance, and then husband. So we probably played Fortnite together and streamed it together for a good 2 or 3 years before we kind of both got burnt out of it. And that's one where it's a little harder to shut off the outside chatter. Like, especially once you start streaming. Because, like, once you start streaming, you are inviting people into your world. And it's a lot harder to ignore people that are, like, way up in your face than it is to ignore people that you can literally turn off a chat and not hear them anymore. Well, with Fortnite, since you pretty much have to play with teams, like, I don't know. You can run solo, and trust me, when I play Fortnite, I run solo most of the time at this point. I want nothing to do with the other people who play. They have just shown themselves to be such disgusting, despicable humans on the most part. I'd rather run solo. I have found no good reason to run with randoms. It's not worth the time. Okay, I don't want one of these actually, because that's... I only want things that are one-time plants. All right. And the reason I got there is, for some reason... Well, let's see. One night Wolf and I were running, and these guys came into my chat and said, hey, we'd like to run with you and your fiance at the time. Would you, do a foursome game with us? And it was like, Well, the one thing we would ask is, are you over 18? Because we don't run with little kids. Just as a former teacher, a safety thing I have. I don't run games where I know that my language is not always PG. I get frustrated, and a few curse words end up popping out. Oh, that's almost full, isn't it? So I should probably go drop stuff off. Okay. Um, they confirm, yeah. We're adults. We're in our 20s. We're roommates. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. You want to run with us? We'll run around with you. Okay. And we knew they were in our stream chats, because that's how they asked. So we got on, and they sent us a friend request, and we teamed up for a round. And about 2 minutes in, they start making fat girl jokes. And at that point, I do what I've always done, and I disengaged. Not from the game, but I just stopped talking. I was like, okay, this is how this is going to go. That's fine. We're going to finish this game and then move on with our lives. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. Wolf, however, had not experienced this. And this is when I realized how different the experience is for female gamers compared to male gamers. Because to me, this was like run of the mill, yeah, there's some of those. Okay. And I know how to handle them. There's a couple different ways, but the way I prefer is just, for the most part, shut up and let them make themselves look stupid. Because they're going to. If you keep picking at and insulting somebody who's just completely ignoring you and not responding, you look like an idiot. And I was streaming it live, and their usernames were out there live. So I'm like, okay, if this is how you want to present yourself, and you think this is funny, knowing that you're being streamed, knowing that people are watching your username be this stupid and moronic, knock yourself out. Wolf was not so calm, and Wolf had a much more rough time taking it, and just deal with it until the match is over, and then we can get out. By the time the match was over, we had to end our stream because he was so upset on my behalf, and he was arguing, he was cussing him out, and I'm just like, dude, Wolf, stop. There is no point. I don't have my feelings hurt. I'm fine. This is just part of being an overweight female in the gaming world, dude. It does no good to argue with them or cuss them out. That just, gives them what they want, and they enjoy it. They're doing it to get a rise out of you. They're doing it to run me off. Well, they're not going to. I've been in this gaming world longer than them. I will be in this gaming world long after they give up and quit. But I guess it's really is, I don't know. It's something I know that still really bothers him, and I think it was just he had not seen it until that night, because he's not like that, He's just like, oh, okay, you want to play a game? Cool beans. I dated a guy in college who, he thought it was cute that I wanted to go to a LAN party, at his house. And if you know what a LAN party is, before the internet was everything that it is today, you would hook up computers. Everybody would bring their computers, and not their laptops, they're full on towers, to one location, one guy's house, and you'd hook them all up, and one computer would play server, and you would play games to you could play games together like that. Like we played Diablo 2, I think, or whatever. You could all play games together by like using cables to hook your computers up in the same location, because the internet was not everything it is now. And doing something like that, well, one, everybody would have to have internet, which everybody didn't, and it would have been very expensive. So it was a way that gamers got together to play. So I got to come play, and I was so excited that I got to go play with the boys. Oh my goodness. And Derek's like, yep. And then when, not Derek, the guy I was dating, whose name was not Derek, he's like, yeah, you can play with us for a while, and then if you get bored, you can go hang out with my sister. By the way, I was in like 19. His sister was like 13, but I did love her. She was awesome. I was like, yeah, okay. Or I could just, play the game. Like, I can keep up with you guys. And I did. I loved it. It was fun. It was so much fun. I really, truly enjoyed playing it that night. The problem was, I didn't suck. I wasn't great, but I didn't suck. And I was able to keep up with them and level up and learn how the game worked. And by the end of the night, I fit in with his high school friends, and they were all guys, and I was a girl, and I fit in like one of the guys. I always have kind of, if I'm going to, hang out with the guys, I've got to be able to take it and give it like the guys, the hazing and razzing and all of that stuff. And that really bothered him, that it was so comfortable for me to hang out with them. And it actually became a source of pretty significant tension in our relationship, that I hung out with guys like they were just other people, and it wasn't like a thing. And I could talk video games better than he could, and I could play a lot of video games better than he could. And I was able to like bridge this communication gap between normies and geeks because I had lived in both worlds. I was part of both worlds, And that just absolutely pissed him the hell off. So that's kind of what led to the end of that relationship. And for a long time, I was like afraid to let guys know that I could game and I enjoyed it. And like I dated another guy after college where he owned a board game store. And he didn't want to introduce me to anyone because he's like, I don't want you thinking you're ever going to have a piece of my game store. I'm like, we're just dating, dude. We're not. I don't want a piece of your game store. Well, I'm just saying, I don't even want suggestions. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make any. Like, I hadn't made any suggestions. I hadn't done anything. And he's just like, well, I'm just saying. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying you're being weird. So, yeah, that was another relationship. Didn't last long. Geeks are a weird, I don't know. Another good day, almost 10K. Being a female gamer, like, you have to fit into categories. And in 2025, the men of the gaming world really, really want you to fit into that fantasy role that's a lot of, and I gotta say, hats off to the girl gamers now who embrace their beauty and their sexuality and are all about it, and also good at gaming and also highly intelligent. Like, that's awesome. I think that is incredible for you guys, and that's great. But we've reached the point where gamers are like, well, those type of girls, it's okay for them to be in the gaming world, but anybody else, ooh. And again, it's not all guys, and it's not all male geeks. There are a lot of geeks that are just like, okay, geeks come in all shapes, sizes, and genders at this point, whatever. But there's still that contingent, and it is the very, very vocal contingent that says girls shouldn't be gamers, or if they are, they should be the hypersexualized. Oh my god! Let me tell you, the girls that are like that, they're not stupid. They know what they're doing. They're getting your money. And go for it, girl. Get your money. Because the incels will give those girls money because they are the fantasy, And if you're not the fantasy, then you shouldn't exist. And I don't know. After 30 years in this world, literally 30 years in the gaming world, it really, you're not worth my time. If you're not worth my time, you're not worth my time. I'm happily married. I'm not looking for any other man's approval. Honestly, and Wolf will tell you this, while I like his approval and I appreciate his input, I'm pretty damn independent. I'm going to do what I'm going to do whether somebody approves or not. I'm going to do to my hair whatever I want to do to my hair, and Wolf doesn't really get a say. Luckily, Wolf's just kind of like, I think you're pretty no matter what. I think you should do whatever color hair you want. I woke up one day and I decided I wanted to start wearing makeup every day. And he's like, and for the first 4 years of our relationship, I wore makeup exactly one day, and that would be our wedding day. And then I wake up and I'm like, hey, Wolf, I'm going to start wearing makeup every day, and I'm going to film it and put it on the internet. He's like, cool, okay. I very rarely seek approval from people at this point, basically because it was so hard to get it for the first 30 years of my life. You get used to not having people's approval, and it stops being a necessity. So if you want to be a girl gamer who's going to stick around and who's still going to be gaming 30 years from now, you got to get a thick skin, and you got to let the crap roll off your back, because it's not going to stop. It's gotten better. And it goes in waves where it gets better and it gets worse, and it's better and it gets worse. And it's been getting better for a long time, but I have a feeling over the next 4 years or so, it's going to get really bad. If you don't have a thick skin, you might want to do what I did and shut things off. I'm not saying quit gaming. I'm never going to say quit gaming. But you don't have to be in chat. You don't have to have your mic on. You don't have to have your camera on. If it's going to hurt your heart, protect it. Shut the camera off. Shut your mic off. Play the game. Type. Just tell people, oh, sorry, I don't have a mic. Type. It's fine. It does not matter what your gender is. Just go play the game. If you're going to be able to have a thick skin and not let it bother you, then do what you want. Like, I promise you, at some point, if you ever watch my stream or eventually on YouTube, you watch. I will get trolls. They're just making themselves look stupid. I don't need their approval. I'm not looking for their approval. Their opinion means jack shit. Excuse my language. Everything they say does nothing to me, says nothing about me. It says everything about them and what they value and what low confidence they have in themselves. Because somebody who does have a lot of confidence does not run around finding people to insult. They don't need to. But I don't know how this became like girls in gaming, but there you go. That's my Stardew Valley episode. What is it? 36. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna go do my makeup or get ready for my first day of work. 'Cause, yeah. Thanks for joining me, guys. Sorry about the rant. Have a nice day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.